This video is going to serve as a bit of a follow-up, not only to my previous video, but also as a sort of response to everything going on in the community. To be honest, this is the worst response to a patch that I've ever witnessed in any video game that I've personally played. And it's just crazy to me considering how long I've been playing live service games. With the overwhelming amount of comments and DMs I've been getting, I feel like it would kind of be a hard throw not to make a follow-up video because so many people have things to say that others need to see. I'm no Thor 6'6", tatted, fucking buff as hell, nonchalant dreadhead demon, but if I have the platform, I'm gonna make sure to use and abuse it. Nah, I'm bullshit, but yeah, I'm gonna make sure I use it so people get heard when they have things to say. I also want to address the whole flat situation with the hate he's been getting over this and address some of my comments I've been getting lately as well. For those of you who don't know, a bigger content creator by the name of Flats thought the Thor changes were really good and he released the video explaining why. Now, I didn't watch any of Flats' videos on the patch before I uploaded my thoughts, but I've been getting and seeing hundreds of comments saying that his take is dog shit and he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I took it upon myself to watch some of his thoughts on the patch to get a non-biased understanding of what's going on before I blindly make a video on a hot topic. I'm now going to play his initial thoughts on the Thor changes that I would assume has everyone so riled up. For more context moving forward this video.
So 2 nerfs to Thor's survivability, which is shield on the shift/Thor force. Instead of 100 shield, you get 75. And your health is also getting a 50 nerf. However, the Thor hammer throw no longer is a universal cooldown. So you can do that whenever. It'll do less damage, but that means you can use it more often to secure kills. Oh my, wait. This is actually some nice changes. That means that there's a reason to actually use the hammer throw now. So you actually want to use it. This could be good. This is probably the most exciting change for me, personally. No shit. Wait, also, wait, hang on, the Thor force. Wait, what? So hang on, wait a minute. You could theoretically throw the hammer deep onto a team and try not to hit anybody, and then the return hits multiple people and you get a bunch of Thor force for it, because every time it hits an enemy you get Thor force. So like, let's say you use your you use your awakening form and then you run out of Thor force and then you throw it. It's not a far throw, I know that, but you're also frontlining, right? Wow, wait, interesting. That's actually a very I like this change. I'm very cautiously optimistic about this change. No, I'm not even cautiously optimistic. I'm optimistic about this. I think it's a good change. I like that a lot.
Now that you've seen some of his initial thoughts on the changes, let me tell you why Thor mains are upset. It's because to any competent Thor player watching that video, we can tell he has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to the hero. He said the only 2 nerfs to Thor's survivability were that his shift only shields for 75 and the max overshield was reduced to 150. This is the first real red flag that I personally see in Flat's take, and it's literally the first thing that he ever said. So any Thor player worth their salt would tell you that the 2 nerfs that Flats mentioned weren't even the biggest issue, and that the bigger issue was that hammer throw is no longer a Thor force ability, which Flats not only thought wasn't a nerf, but he thought it was a major buff. If his very first take in the video wasn't bad enough, he then said that hammer throw being on a 6-second cooldown rather than 2 is going to be used more often, even with the less damage for securing kills. Like, that just literally doesn't make sense, like, logically. Now, I know I've already upset some people by using simple logic, but holy fuck, this is the most rancid take I've seen in my fucking life. How is something that you can only use every 6 seconds with less damage gonna be used more often to secure kills than something used every 2 seconds with more damage? The final straw for Thor players, I would assume, is when he says, wait, so there's actually a reason to use the hammer throw now. The significance of that statement is so profound because it just solidifies the fact that you should not be listening to these dumb ass takes. If bro didn't even understand the efficacy of using hammer throw mid-fight when you want to brawl and keep your damage output high but not lock yourself into awakening, he literally has no merit to speak about shit like this. Now, by this point in the video, I was close to having a fucking aneurysm, but it gets even worse for me personally in that he tries to like big brain the hammer throw changes. He goes, well, you could essentially throw the hammer throw and miss on purpose to get multiple people to restore the Thor force. And by all means, he is not wrong at all. That definitely will be the play for some people, but brother, we've already had an ability that had that function since Thor was released. The issue isn't with Flats and his creativity, and I'm not trying to shit on that, but brother, how do you not understand this? We have to intentionally miss a move to get the same value that another move has had since launch. Instead of just tweaking that move, we now have some like watered down version of it. Instead of make some minor tweaks to the ability we already have, we've essentially made a completely obsolete ability and nerfed his sustain for absolutely no fucking reason. It's like going to get your oil changed and niggas just start looking at all types of other shit like, bro, fix my fucking oil. God damn, bro. I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand when it's actually just so simple. They're trying to fix problems that we don't have. But here's his reaction to Thor mains being upset over the changes.
They think he'll be super bad now. Right, listen, I mean this with all love in my heart, but this is why sometimes we come to very much butt heads with you, with people, where like I tell you, dude, you're being a moron. And then people look at me and they go, no, you think that you're a moron. And then it comes out that I was right, like 95% of the time. Not every time, but like 95% of the time. This is going to be probably another one of those where like he's going to end up probably even better than he was. Granted, he's not going to be as tanky, but if you are good mechanically, you could almost play him like an off tank.
All right, Flats. Here you have someone coming up with coherent arguments against what you're saying with no personal attacks, no bullshit, no nothing. Let's see who's right when it's all said and done. Is it the thousands of people that actually play Thor, or the person that didn't even know Thor hammer throw was a good ability? I'm gonna let the final response from Flats that I know of play through and give my thoughts. And I'll have to warn you, this is borderline fucking rage bait at this point, but let's get into it.
There's like 6 ways of playing Thor, by the way, just so you guys know. Like there's
Bro's trying to explain Thor's different playstyles, but he didn't even know the value that hammer throw provides. Brother, you were fooling no one.
There's like the displacement shift style. There's the Surefour flank DPS play style. But considering there's like multiple ones that actually are all good and work, there's buffs and nerfs to each one. And it's like, I don't even want to go near that thing at the moment, but like, good fucking lord, right? The funniest part of reading any of it is just like, brother, the only thing you're mad about is they took away survivability. Do you know why they take away survivability? Because they're scared that if they overbuff the damage and then survivability is still high, he'll break.
I don't know if I should be spamming this, but I promise you nobody wanted the damage buffs. You're claiming that they didn't want to break the hero by buffing the damage and keeping the survivability when no one asked for the extra damage in the first place. They're trying to solve a problem that no one is having.
So what's going to happen is if he comes out and he's not as good as they hope, you can just re-add the health. And then you have higher damage output, higher active uptime, and same tankiness. That is literal game balance 101.
Again, bro's trying to explain game balance to us like we're children when he doesn't even know the nuance of the hero and what makes his abilities good.
All it did was make the cooldown cycle much more fluid and gives you more options. That's why it's a good change.
What they're doing doesn't, in fact, make the cooldown cycle more fluid and give us more options. Well, it does give us one more option, and that's just to press F another time. You're calling the cycle more fluid when good Thor players could literally already do that shit. Not only that, but the strongest option that Thor has in the mid fight is now gone due to hammer throw not being a Thor force ability. And again, I wouldn't expect you to know this because you're not a Thor player, but how dare you speak to people that actually do this shit like children because you don't want to take a step back and at least try to understand.
People saying like, oh, but they took away tankiness. Yeah, it's a health shit. You can turn that back on tomorrow.
Not today.
So it's like, holy mother of fucking Christ. Anyways, That's why I'm not gonna argue with them, because it's idiotic. It is genuinely idiotic. Regardless. Cool. Saw someone in some Thor video talk about you and how much respect they lost for you, and they said they enjoyed, because you said you enjoyed the rework. Watch when next week when it comes out, and then you have a higher damage uptime, and if it doesn't have enough survivability, they just add 100 health back, and then you have the same survivability with higher damage uptime. Holy fuck. And you know what? I'm gonna take it a step further. I haven't even seen the video. I feel like the people who identify themselves like so hard and passionately that like that is their personality. Like, I am the Thor main. I hate you. Sorry. It just, brother, the best part about video games is the variety, being able to play a bunch of stuff. You can have a main, you can enjoy it, like you can think it's your favorite thing, but if that's your entire personality and that's all it is, you just piss me off.
Nobody gives a fuck who you hate, truly. We don't give a fuck. Why would you take it a step further if you're just gonna do this like subliminal, like weird ass rant, bro? I don't know which creator said they lost respect for him and prompted this like rant, whatever the fuck, but I promise you they would at least stand on what they're saying and how the fuck they feel, bro. This is once again an instance in this video alone in which you tried to make someone else out to be less than while doing some dumb fucking loser shit yourself, bro. This shit is just insane. Now, I've tried to be as impartial in these responses as I could, and I really think I did do my best. I hope y'all can appreciate that. I hope y'all can appreciate at least a little bit deeper of an explanation as to why, you know, Thor players have such a big issue with flats on that. Again, I'm not trying to spread any hate, and I've chosen not to interact with like overtly hateful comments because it's never that serious. But with that being said, there is one type of comment that I do need to address in my last video, and that I said that creators with big platforms can be dangerous when spreading misinformation. And some of y'all took that as me taking the game too serious. If you genuinely thought that I was talking about a fucking video game and not like the larger scope of creators and their platforms, you were genuinely fucking, I can't say the word on YouTube, but your elevator doesn't go too high, bro. So please get that checked out. Get out of my comments, go pick up a book or some shit. But yeah, but with all that being said, thank you for tuning in once again. I tried not to sound as douchebaggy in this video, but yeah, be kind to yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.